And right, the initial verse, we seek the teachings to benefit ourselves and at the same time benefit others. I think this is very clear. This is the great vehicle that we are in. That see, benefiting ourselves and benefiting others comes from developing the purity of the heart and clarity of the mind. And obviously, in the process in our life, there are a lot of challenges in us. And so these challenges in us are the sediments of our life. So sometimes in life, you need to let the sediment settle down. And like a lotus pond, when the sediment settles, it becomes the mud, and where you can blossom the lotus heart. So this is the great vehicle of the Mahasattvas. Great vehicle of the Mahasattvas is one that obviously develop the benevolence within us. So this benevolence means this one is about user compassion and wisdom, where you put the interests of others before you. And this is what the path is about. So transform sentient beings like an ox who peacefully and patiently transport heavy burdens. So that's what the ox does. The ox does all this benefit for who? For others. And this burden that the ox carries is again for the benefit of others. Thus, the ox cart is the analogy for the bodhisattvas. It is where the ox cart that Master has been explaining. So, in Master explanation, we must be willing to elevate our aspiration. It must learn be like the Buddha and attain this level of compassion and wisdom. So, the Buddha obviously, when he took birth, even though he was a prince, he gave up his life. Why? He wanted to seek the answer to suffering for the benefit of sentient beings. So you, even after the time of the Buddha, you hear some of the stories of all the other enlightened beings. The Bodhidharma is the other one. The Bodhidharma is about an Indian monk who traveled all the way to India, and obviously that's and he's a grandmaster, if you like, of Shaolin. So he's also another prince and went all the way there. And even until today, you may meet some of the high masters. I met one Vajrayana master. He was a prince from Sikkim. So, you know, and the other one is obviously, you may be aware, is Ananda Krishnan's son, who is a monk in Thailand. So this is the aspiration that we set in our life, but we are householders. So householders doesn't mean that we cannot be in practice. Obviously, and this is what we are trying to learn. So, and we do so because we, not only that we save ourselves, we not only will liberate ourselves, but also we liberate others. And this is not illusory, and people are truly saved. And this goes back to a few lessons ago when Master mentioned that what Buddha spoke was true because he attained enlightenment. He showed that he had attained enlightenment. So therefore, we do so to attain this realization for the benefit of others. And in so doing, we live a wisdom life and backgrounds amongst the people. But more often than not, sometimes when we try to explain things and the other person who listens to it, they say, I know. I mean, sometimes we also do that. So I think actually that do we really understand? So unless a person really grows into contemplation and gain realization, will not be able to get into the truth of the teaching. And when we do that, and when we get into practice, we need to gain experiential learning, and then so that realization will grow deeper. Now, Master mentioned about Mahasattvas. Mahasattvas, this is a great vehicle, Maha meaning great, of course. And I understand, this is what I learned, it's very little, Mahasattvas obviously would be the great ones who actually at the door of Buddhahood. Okay, so for example, Kuan Yin would be a Mahasattva, and obviously the other Mahasattvas I'm sure that you all know is like Samantabhadra. That's the other one. So Mahasattvas are great bodhisattvas and here to transform sentient beings, and this is all the selflessness about what we should form our aspiration to go towards. So in just transporting the heavy burden, and what we should emulate is like an ox who peacefully and patiently transport heavy burdens. And so no matter what there is that we see in suffering in the world, we should be peaceful and patient to stay in the world of endurance. So the aspiration, therefore, is that even we attain that state of bodhisattvahood, we'll return back to help liberate sentient beings and shoulder this heavy responsibility. But we not only that, we also must do it peacefully and patiently. And this is the endurance that we have to be in this kind of life that we undertake, and to create the karma to be born. This obviously this one for the ox, they took the burden, like what the Buddha in one of past life created the karma to born as an ox, but then accepted the fate and patiently enjoy this. So that is a metaphor for us to be in practice from that level. So sometimes, like I said, when life is too good, we never learn to practice until something difficult happens to us, then we get awakened. So important thing is that when we have this sense that our mind is able to learn and discern the wisdom, we should then seize the opportunity to learn the Dharma and walk along the path. So the lessons learned here is that if we want to attain Buddhahood, we must form great aspiration and practice the bodhisattva path. So this is the causal ground. So because in this life that we have, this is a ground of practice that we are in. So we create a cause now to be on this particular path, so that in our future lifetime, we will continue to progress. And this is what it is to practice into the mind continuum, because we are not in position, or most of us are not in a position to get enlightened in this lifetime. So therefore, we got to make sure to create that or to establish that condition for us to be able to progressively practice in a future lifetime. So we understand that the world is filled with suffering. So therefore, we mindfully must seek the true principles of Buddha Dharma. So but because it's full of suffering, these are nutrients of our practice, the learn about compassion and wisdom. So we understand really matters the suffering in the world, and we also understand the causes of suffering have been accumulated in the process. So in order to be in this bodhisattva path, then we must engage in the practice of helping to relieve suffering in the world. And that goes back to the initial verse that is about benevolence, right? It's about benevolence and compassion and wisdom that we need to generate in all of us. So the aspiration that we must sit to set for ourselves is to be peacefully and patiently transform heavy burdens, and that's all contained in the bodhisattva vows. So in contemplation, is it when many others scorn at a good practice, do not be discouraged. I'm sure you have come across times when much that you try to do good for others, there will be always some part of the society will scorn at you in your good practice. But the important thing is just like the buffaloes, even though people throw sand across, they still continue. So do not be discouraged. So do not be discouraged by helping the wrong people. There's no such thing as sort of helping the wrong people, because but that's how worldly judgment is. So your conduct speaks volumes about you, but their behavior says enough about them. So there is no need to speak and criticize others. So life is lived for helping others without exception. So the world must just need some minority to help the majority. We know that there's a lot of suffering around. There's so many people who would try to discourage you, dislodge you, and all sort of stuff. But these are the nutrients of practice. So a single candle can light 1,000 candles. So with courage, you cannot be discouraged. So on relationship, like a river, your life is meant to serve the masses, isn't it? There's all towns, villages, settlements are along the river, and a river does not drink its own water. So life is meant to live for others. Otherwise, life is no longer purposeful, it's no longer meaningful. Okay, Gan En brothers and sisters, that's all.
Yeah, Gan En, so much, Brother Chin, for the wonderful summary. In fact, I wish to report to you yesterday.